In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create a really cool slideshow animation effect between two photos, plus add some sound effects. Let's get into it. So here in my timeline, I have these archival photos of bananas that I got from the Wikimedia Commons. And by the way, if you're a documentary filmmaker or a journalist and you need access to some really cool archival source photos, Wikimedia Commons has a ton of public domain photos that you can use for free in your videos. So for this particular effect, I'm going to add a slight blur and just a very subtle zoom effect between these photos. And this effect was inspired by Johnny Harris's documentaries on his YouTube channel and also his recent video on the history of bananas in Central America. Highly recommend it. That's why I chose these banana archival photos. So the first step is to select the second photo here. We're going to start with just adding an animation to the very beginning of the second photo. So we're going to go up to effects and search for Gaussian blur, and drag and drop this, or you can double click if you have the photo selected, double click to apply it. And now over in effect controls, you can see we have the Gaussian blur. Now we want the photo to start out blurry. So we're going to increase the blurriness here to 40. And then we want to keyframe. So we're going to select the stopwatch, the toggle animation, to create this first little keyframe here. Now, we want this to be a fairly quick transition. It's a very subtle effect. So we're gonna move around 6 frames forward. So you can play around with different timings, but I'll just use my arrow keys to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to reduce this to 0. So now between these two keyframes, we have this very short little blur effect. So now we need to add a subtle scale in animation, but we're not going to animate the scale, and I'll tell you why in just a second. Instead, you're going to go over to effects and search for transform. And this is underneath distort, and we're going to double click to apply this to the same photo, and here we have transform. And here we're going to add some animation to the scale. So if you want it to start more zoomed in, we can increase this, let's say, to 125. We need to press the toggle animation. And now we can move 6 frames forward. And let's bring this down to 110. And then we can move like 2 frames forward just to have it zoom out a little bit more. Let's do 108. And then to make it more smooth, we can lasso and select these keyframes and control click and select ease in, or you can right click, and this one we can ease out. So now when we play it back, it looks really cool. Just a very subtle zoom out with a blur. Just like that. It's very simple, but it's effective. And when we add sound effects later in the video, it's really going to come to life. Now we can copy and paste these effects that we added, so we can press Command or Control to select both of the effects, press Command C or Control C to copy them. Then we can go to the next photo that we want to apply this effect to. Let's say the third one here. And we can go up to Effect Controls, move the playhead to the beginning, make sure you have this window selected, and then Command V to paste it. And now it's applied to this photo. And remember, I said I would explain this. The reason why we applied the keyframe animation to the scale of the transform effect and not at the regular motion controls is that way, if we ever want to make any changes to the scale or the position, it won't screw up the keyframes that we had. So we can go up here, and if we want to zoom out a little bit here, let's say down to like 32, it's not going to mess up the animation that we did down here. And we can always make some adjustments, and you can repeat the same process to every photo. So now we have this really cool slideshow effect, and it's really subtle to do. And the next thing we need to do is add some sound effects. And by the way, my name is Kelsey, and welcome back to Gal. If this video is helping you out so far, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe, so that way you see when my videos and my tips become available on YouTube. And this video is sponsored by Epidemic Sound. Epidemic Sound is my go-to source for sound effects and music, and it's unlimited. You can download as much as you want, and it's social media friendly, YouTube friendly, so you won't have any copyright strikes for using any of the sounds. And you can use my link below to get 30 days free. So that means you can get 30 days free of unlimited music and sound effects to download and try out in your videos. If you're looking for some really cool background music, some like lo-fi indie tracks that go well with voice, I've put together a playlist. If you just go to Epidemic and you search Premiere Gal, you'll find my Premiere Gal Editing Essentials playlist, and it has some great tracks to help you get started. So use my link below to get 30 days free. And now I'm going to show you how to use some of their sound effects to spice up this slideshow effect. So between the two slides here, I want to have a projector slide. So if you go to Epidemic Sound, you can see that there's music and then there's sound effects. Of course, you can browse by their featured sound effects as well as by category down here, but you can also just go to search, and from sound effects, we can search for projector. And it will bring up a bunch of different sounds that we can play and try out. So we can try projector screen 1, projector screen 2. It's not really what I need. Let's try this. That's a nice slide sound effect. And also, if you want some ambience behind the slide sound effect, for example, if a machine is just playing some slides, this slide projector 8 is just a nice background noise that you can add to your video. So we can go ahead and download these, and once they're downloaded, you can import them into Premiere Pro's product panel. You can see I've already done that. So then we can just drag and drop these effects into the timeline. So Slideshow Projector 14 is the slideshow effect. So I can zoom in here and just place this at the cut point. I can press Option to duplicate that and just repeat that. Great. And then we can take the Slideshow Projector 8, drag and drop it down there, press C, and cut at the end and delete that excess. Play around with the level and let's see how this sounds. And look at that, just 2 sound effects, and already it's feeling more like a projector screen, like a real life one. And you can add some music from Epidemic if you want to bring it to life. So if you're looking for a quick way to do the slideshow effect on multiple different resolutions, let's say you want to do portrait, vertical, stories, square, 4K, and 1080p HD, and you don't want to build it all from scratch, I've put together a photo slideshow creator template that's on sale on my website. And it has 4 other different types of transitions. So if you just don't want the zoom blur transition, I also added, swipe left, swipe right, up and down. And it's really easy to use. It's just drag and drop in your own videos or photos and you can use it. Let me just quickly show you how it works. Once you download and purchase the pack, you will see here that you can import your own footage. So I can go in and just take some of my photos here. And let's say that you wanted to use the portrait. You could go into the slideshows and let's say we want the swipe one and see what this looks like. If you want to update these to your own photos, we can then just go ahead and, for example, this placeholder, you can double click on the first placeholder and drag and drop in your own photos. Replace this with some dogs here. So if you want to add this French bulldog, go ahead, drag that in, go up to effects, and scale it into place. And then when we go back to the portrait, you can see that that photo has been replaced just like that. And you'll notice that there's a film crop. You can just turn off the visibility if you don't want that. And there's a portrait color adjustment layer that you can turn off if you want the original style of the photo. And there's some light leaks as well that you'll see that you can turn off as well that I generated. And again, underneath edit, you'll find the same exact sequences for HD, 4K, portrait, square, and vertical. And there's 2 different types. So there's the classic, which is that zoom blur effect. And then there's the swipe effect, which goes up or down just like that. And you can move around. So you can take any of these and change it. For example, you can go down to the swipe transitions, and if you want it to swipe left, for example, you can go down here, and this is vertical, so you can go into vertical, and you can open this up, and then you can copy this transition, go back to vertical, and make sure you're on video layer 2 when you paste this. You can literally delete that, Command V, to paste that transition. And now after you press enter to render it out very quickly, you will see It's a swipe left transition. So you can, modify which direction you want the swipes to go. And one more thing I wanted to mention, let's say you already have a Premiere Pro project file open and you want to import the template into the Premiere Pro project. What you can do is just drag and drop the file. So here I have the download. You will see here the Premiere Pro project file. Just drag and drop it into the project panel, and then it will ask you to import the entire project, and you can create folder for the imported items and allow for duplicate media. Press OK, and then you will see all of the same folders here that you can open up and reuse. And you can import this project file as many times as you want if you want to create new sequences with new media, for example. And the sound effects are included. So the media that's included in this template is in the public domain. So all of these archival photos of bananas are included in the template. So that way you know which placeholders are where, and you can just replace those images with your own photos. So definitely go check that out. Go to premieregal.com/store to purchase this slideshow pack. And anytime that there's an update, you will get that update after you purchase it, and you can use it in any type of video. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I really hope that this slideshow effect helps you out. It's gonna be great for documentary films, for weddings, for just sharing personal stories too. Thanks again to Epidemic Sound for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to use my link below to get 30 days free of unlimited music and sound effects. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, keep creating better video with Gal. See you next time. Bye.